You know how it is. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. And that's where I was at when I was heading westbound on I-30, coming out of Little Rock. Traffic jam that led to one single vehicle, a little white Jeep Compass, in the middle of a three-lane highway. And you know what I did? I limped that 1 ton on the left and jumped on out of the truck. And I scooted around a semi and missed a car, and I got off in that lane. And that woman, who was a little bit older than me, frail, skinny, I smelled the presence of alcohol. No biggie, I get it. Hell, I've had a couple drinks. I can still drive. But long story short, she was panicking, you know. You know how people panic when they get real high, they get too excited? Going all over the place. And I looked at her and I said, hey, just breathe. I want you to get in that car. I want you to put in neutral. And I want to get behind there. Hey, stay in that car. Traffic's coming by. You're going to get killed. I got behind that car and I pushed and it didn't budge. Hey, your foot on the brake? No, sir. I come around. I said, that ain't it. She said, well, I can't get the emergency brake to release. See, a lot of cars have them electric emergency brakes. Once that ECU makes up its mind that they don't want to go nowhere, it's over. And so I said, let me get in there and see if I can mess with it. And I got in there and started trying to start it. It wouldn't crank. Put it back in park. It wouldn't crank. And I looked there and I said, ma'am, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're going to have to get this thing towed and get out of the highway. And she said, I can't do that. I said, what do you mean? She said, see, this ain't my car. Do what? Yeah, this is, I kind of borrowed this car from my ex-fiance's cousin's brother. This ain't my car, what I do? And I looked at her in the middle of traffic going westbound in the rush hour, sitting in the middle lane of interstate, and I told her, you should run is what you should do, right? Because it was obvious that she was jacked up on dope. It was obvious that she had took a couple of drinks to tighten herself down. And it was obvious that she knew, that I knew, that we both knew that wasn't her fucking car. And she had me out there in a moment of distress, pushing a stolen vehicle that she kindly wanted me to believe that it was her borrowed ex-fiance's car. She had forgotten. She didn't see the tattoos that I had played the game, and I've been around some seasoned veterans, females specifically, that had no place to live, right? They had doped out, trapped out their lives. Their mom and daddy didn't want them. Their children didn't want them. So they had been left on the street going house to house, and everywhere they go, they took up chaos and drama. So eventually they landed at some poor son of a bitch's house that never seen no pussy, and they give them a piece on the cool, but never admit to it. And then what they do is they borrow their shit, right? They steal their car and their money. I know one that went as far as calling the bank, went to the bank with a check and had another girlfriend hold the woman's phone. So when the bank called to verify it, yeah, it's good. $16,000. Dope whores. Right. And as I haciended across the highway, sorry, I can't help you. I barely got in that truck and I did one thing. I picked up that fucking phone and called the state police. And told them, I said, hey, y'all got a problem. First off, y'all gonna have an accident out here at the 121 heading westbound on I-30. You got a distraught woman that's probably got a blood alcohol level higher than she's supposed to, that's doped out in a stolen car, and she needs some help, right? Because first things first, I've done a lot of foul shit. But until I got my ass busted, that's when the correction inside me wanted to happen. That's what brings the good Lord to his work, right? When you get your ass busted and you're on your knees and circumstances are bleak and you don't know the outcome, and you start praying to God, God, can you help me, right? And if we don't provide people with those experiences, then what we are doing is we're shorting mankind. right? We're robbing the universe and our creation of the right to evolve because we have settled for anything less than struggle. And struggle is what builds a motherfucker up, right? If we all could come out of the womb with abs or bench pressing 500 pounds, it wouldn't be that fucking special now, would it? But you got to earn that shit. Even the ones with talent. Even the ones with genetics. It's dues paid, motherfucker. Welcome to the show. And I don't know who that woman was, but I'd like to think that God placed me in her life because she's fixing to get clean. Right? And he shouldn't be stealing people's shit. No sirree, no Bob. In other countries, they'll cut your hand off. And here, we're just going to rob you for freedom. 30, 90 days and get your life together. Praise God. Fluid English.